In Seattle, that's Sunday afternoon. It's a big game for the Red Sox, the rubber of 3, and the last game of a long road trip in which they won 8-2. Our good buddy is Tom. Caron, we'll get to the Celtics and a little golf in a second, too. But Red Sox first. You know, Tom, the first thing I was thinking about, and welcome as usual, is the idea that the extra playoff team this year really does help the Red Sox. Because if there was only 5 in the American League with Tampa, Toronto, and the Yankees, it would be a little tricky. But now that there is 6, and the second-place teams in the other 2 divisions are bad, the Red Sox could actually be the 4th team in the American League to make the postseason in October. Let's discuss that first. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, any doubt that this was the deepest division of baseball, I just look at those standings on your screen right now, right? Right now, you'd have 4 of the 5 teams in the American League East going to the postseason. The Red Sox, remember, at one point, 9 games under 500. They were 10-19. They've reeled off 22 out of 32 since, and you mentioned that 8-2 road trip out west. Their best West Coast trip since 1995. So they're back in the hunt right now, only 3.5 back, as you can see, of the Rays. So hoping to move up. Alex Cora and his team really believe their best baseball is ahead of them. But there's no doubt that right now, just the fact that they are holding on to that extra wild card spot certainly makes that expanded field popular here in New England.
100%. They haven't really played that many teams in the American League East yet. I mean, they've only had the 2 series with Toronto. The Yankees haven't played in Fenway, nor has Tampa. And so they got on the Orioles, they've only played them a couple times. So they have a lot of games in the American League East, Tom, and they're scheduled in September. I know you can't play the scheduled game, but they do finish the last 30 or so games. It's not impossible. Red Sox win 85, 86 games. They might make the 6th spot in the AL. Your thoughts on that for a sec? Let me hear.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Although I will say a cautionary tale. You mentioned the games against the AL East. They haven't played a lot of them, but they have lost every single series against the American League East so far this season. That includes 2 with the Baltimore Orioles. They lost 2 out of 3 down at Camden Yards, lost 3 out of 5 in their last homestand here at Fenway Park, lost a series at Tampa, lost a series at New York, and lost 2 series to the Blue Jays. So they're going to have to play better in the division. There's no doubt about that. They're under 500 at Fenway Park right now, 1 game under 500. They got to play better at home. So these are things this team is going to have to address now. But to your point, right now, the schedule's favorable. You know, you go out west, you took care of business. You swept Oakland, as you should. You took 3 out of 4 against that Angels team that had a 14-game losing streak. And then you needed the late home run from Devers, but you took 2 out of 3 from Seattle. You got Oakland again starting tonight. It ends with Detroit, this 9-game homestand. St. Louis this weekend will be more of a challenge. But you got to load up right now because the key stretch over the next month, the 14 days leading up to the All-Star break, are 7 games with the Yankees, 7 games with the Rays. That's a gauntlet. And you're going to know a lot about this team after those 14 games.
Great job, Tom. 100%. That will be tricky. Sale, and now, of course, Eovaldi's on the IL. Doesn't sound like too bad for Eovaldi, maybe precautionary. I know Sale is, basically throwing the hitters. Could they see him back after the break and get Sale back in that rotation? Let me hear your thoughts on that. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was interesting. Dave Bush, the pitching coach, a week or so ago, kind of hinted that maybe Sale returns as a reliever. Maybe you can get him back to a major league mound sooner if he's not having to go deeper and be a starter. But since he said that, Nathan Eovaldi, as you pointed out, and Garrett Whitlock, great young pitcher they got on the Rule 5 from the Yankees prior to last year. That's 2 of their 5 starters, both on the injured list right now. Neither eligible until June 24th. So they're going to have to patch it together. Cutter Crawford, who got a chance Sunday in Seattle, up from Worcester of AAA. He was 5 strong innings of shutout baseball. He'll get another chance. And then Josh Winkowski, who they got in the Andrew Benintendi trade, probably get another chance at some point over this homestand. They're going to have to cobble this together. But to your point on Sale, I think you see him back probably right after the All-Star break, give or take. And maybe they start him in that kind of long relief that Alex Cora has loved to do in the postseason when he patches together those innings.
Do you think Bogaerts is going to be a Red Sox for life or not?
At the end of the day, I do. I'm an optimist. I know the organization loves him. They do believe that even if he hits free agency at the end of the season, that they can make an offer that will keep him here. There is no doubt that he wants to stay here. But, you're approaching midway through a season here in which he's doing very well. Clearly, the pressure of this contract year hasn't bothered him one bit. He's a Scott Boras guy, so they're going to take it, have that big dossier that everyone's going to be able to look at, and he's going to dazzle everybody. But I think the Red Sox really understand the value he has here in the clubhouse and in the community. And I think they're going to make a real good effort to try to keep him. Is it enough? We'll see, right? That's the problem an organization has when you let a guy go to free agency. You got to be the best out of 30. We'll see if they are.
Interesting there. All right, Celtics a game 6 on Thursday, and the U.S. Open golf at that great golf course a couple days away. It's a big sports scenario there, and the Red Sox have a day game against Oakland. So Thursday's a huge sports day in your area with Boston early, the opening day, and then of course the Celtics play game 6 at home. I think they'll win that game, get a game 7 out of the NBA final. But that's a good sports day in Boston coming up in 48 hours, Tom. How about that? Let me hear.
No doubt. Going to be a great day as the U.S. Open comes back to the site of Francis Ouimet, right? The greatest game ever played when he walked across the street and stunned the world, walking from his house to win the U.S. Open. Now it comes back here, side of the Ryder Cup back in 1999, one of the great finishes in golf. That's at the Country Club, which is just, outside of Boston. The Sox are going to play that day game while the first round is going on. And then you got a 9 o'clock tip-off in a must-win game 6 against Steph Curry. And the situation here with the Warriors is Celtics fans are gnashing their teeth and wailing today because that's a game that you could have won last night. Curry didn't hit a three-pointer for the first time in forever. And you kind of let them off the hook after a strong third period. They fell apart in the fourth. But as I was telling you before we came on, we've got a little special place in our heart for Steph Curry. Huge Red Sox fan. Absolutely loves the Red Sox fan. Red Sox had a bachelor party at batting practice at Fenway Park. So he is a legit Red Sox fan.
Wow.
His college roommate was from the great state of Maine up here, and he's loved the Sox ever since.
Well, I didn't realize that. You had told me that, and his brother was a huge Yankee fan, so he went the other way. Interesting there.
Right.
Ted Ray and Harry Vardon for Emet in 1913 with Eddie Doyle on the bag. Who can forget that?
That's
Mark
right.
Frost wrote that great book. Great job there, Mr. Caron. You know we love you. We'll talk to you soon. Enjoy. Thanks for a few minutes here.
Appreciate it, Mad Dog. Always fun. Thanks.